everyone, welcome to Rooted in the Rock. I'm so glad you're here. Today it's going to be a little different. We're going to take a break from the travel for a minute, okay? I want to talk about, just for a minute, I've been waiting, okay? I want to talk about how eating carnivore has changed my life. Now listen, I'm not trying to be like a carnivore influencer or anything like that. I'm just telling my story and what's been going on with me particularly, okay? Me and my 26 viewers. I appreciate every single one of you, okay? Anyway, so I'm going to start with how I was, how I found it. I made notes, okay? To try to keep myself from like rambling on. But it's a long story. And even like the group I'm in, I haven't really shared it because I'm like, there's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack here. So I'm if you have noticed, I'm looking a little better. I'm feeling a lot better. I still have a long way to go, but let me tell you what's been going on. So how I was, how this all started. This has all been going on since, like I say, I've been tired for over 20 years, you know, like this has been going on. Stuff started hitting me in college before I graduated, okay? I don't remember if it was my junior year or senior year of college. It might have been my senior year, but I started having, like always had things. I think some of this has been going on since my childhood and I just didn't know. But in college, it really started to hit me. You know, people talk about like the freshman 15. I didn't have that problem. That all started, it was like junior, senior year. And of course, in college, you know, here's one reason why. You're making your own decisions, you're doing whatever you want. You're also eating garbage because you have no money and you're getting the 29-cent hamburgers. Yes, it was that long ago. The McDonald's in our town where our college was, I think it was Wednesday, every Wednesday was 29-cent hamburgers. So when you don't have any money, you're like, yes. So anyway, it started to hit in college and it got to the point where I was sleeping through. I went to the doctor because I was like, I am sleeping through like 10 alarms. What is wrong with me? Like I've always had a hard time getting up, but now like I really can't get up. Like what the heck? And that's when, of course, they did the blood work and they found the hyperthyroid, which runs in the family. Good to know. Had no idea I should be keeping an eye on that. Like I knew that my mom was taking it, and my aunt and grandma and whatever, but I didn't know like I should be watching out for it. Like I just didn't know. So anyway, hypothyroid. Well, you think, okay, that should answer everything. Well, at the same time, I was also having a lot of acid reflux issues. And I also was having back issues, which was actually from an injury. I remember when it happened, 6th grade, herniated some discs in my lower back. That's a whole nother story. That's not even what we're talking about. But all this stuff at the end of college. Out of college, I'm working, still tired. I'm telling the doctor, I'm still tired. Like, look, man, I am falling asleep at my desk. Like, what the heck? So I was telling him all these things, all the things that were going on with me. Well, he diagnosed me with ADHD, which, you know, we read all the things and we were like, oh my gosh, like I had never, this was like before it was a very common, knowable thing, right? And so, you know, he just kind of explained it away as that. Oh, you're tired because, you know, this. Okay, so fast forward, how many years? 9 more years or whatever. Still having trouble. I just, you know, push through and ignore it like everything else. Well, I find out, when did I don't remember exactly when so there's vitamin D deficiency and iron deficiency come in. We're not tired enough already, so we're just going to add a little more on top of that, right? So we've got vitamin D deficiency and iron deficiency working against us. And I don't remember which one came first. After I had my first girl, I ended up my iron was so low, I had to go have an iron transfusion. And that, let me tell you, doctors, you know, they gave me this number. Oh, call this, you know, it's, you know, no big deal. I call to make the appointment for the iron transfusion. And I didn't know, you know, and they're like, thank you for calling Cancer Centers of blah, 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 blah. And I was like, uh, what did my doctor not tell me? Like, it kind of freaked me out a little bit. Yeah, they do them in the same place where they do chemotherapy treatments. Good to know. Again, good to know. So anyway, my iron was so low. So it was obviously low before that. I think it was low even in my childhood, and we just didn't know. Maybe the ADHD kept me going enough where, I seemed normal. I don't know. But anyway, so it was low enough I had to get an iron transfusion after my firstborn. And the vitamin D was low. So I've been all these years, doing all, and diets and programs and doctors. So over all these years, and then I had, 4 years later, I had my second one. So over the last 15-ish years, I guess, I don't know how long it's been, like 15, 20 years, we've tried, like, I've been overweight, like, so long. And this whole time, really, my whole adulthood, and we've tried different diets, we've tried all the things, and cutting calories, like my family doctor that I've been with until recently, like the last year or so, he just cut 500 calories and exercise more. That's what he would always tell me. And I'm like, dude, do you have any idea how many calories I have cut and how much work I've been doing? Like, it's not doing anything. Like, something isn't right. And so we've done, I don't know, all kinds of things. South Beach was one of them. We did Atkins when it was popular. We tried it. I mean, and that's the thing with Atkins, is it works really good and then it doesn't, because they bring the carbs back. But that's a whole nother story. Anyway, I did lose, was it before my second child, I think, we did Jenny Craig. And of course, that's great. They limit your calories and you're only eating the food that they make, that you buy from them. But here's the thing. Once you start eating regular food, so on that I lost like 30 pounds, but that was it. That was as far as I could get. And it just, as soon as you start eating regular food again, it comes right back. Like, it doesn't help you in the long run. And any program, any medicine, I've always been like, I'm not taking a pill, I'm not taking an injection, I'm not doing any of those things, because as soon as you stop, it all comes back. Like, I don't want to be on the, medications for life. Like, we're already, anyway, that's a whole nother thing with the stomach medication. So I've always been super, super careful about the stomach medications. I've been taking them for ages, over 20 years, because, there's a hiatal hernia and there's things, and my dad died from esophageal cancer. So I've always been very, very careful about that. But that medicine also contributes to the vitamin deficiencies and the stomach issues and probably not digesting properly. It's a whole can of worms, y'all. It's a whole can of worms, and it's a long story. There's a lot there. So there's all the different diets we've tried, programs we've tried, counting calories, not counting calories, Weight Watchers. We even did that one, and just nothing really worked. Nothing really worked. And doctors, like, I didn't just go to my family doctor. Like, I've been to like specialists and naturopath doctors. Like, I've tried all these things, and of course I'm always interested in cutting chemicals and being as natural as possible, and I believe that's good for you. But like, there was even one I drove all the way downtown for, which I hate driving downtown, but drove a long way to see this special, more natural type, whatever. And I think it's got to be Candida overgrowth. And then she tested for that, and then it wasn't that. You know what? I bet it's estrogen dominance, and they run all the tests, and it's not that. Like, all the things that the regular things that she was thinking it wasn't any of that. All my blood work was fine, and everything was, she couldn't figure it out. She basically was like, I don't know. And I'm thinking, I'm paying all this money and time to come down to you, and you're just like, sorry, it's not any of the usual things. I got nothing. So that was Although in some of I did all kinds of different tests, not just her, but other ones too, all kinds of different blood tests and urine tests and fecal tests and all kinds, spit tests, like all kinds, right? Now, in one of these big bunches of blood work or whatever, I don't remember which doctor at what time, but I had a really high, and they didn't even talk about it. Like, this is like me looking at my blood work results, analyzing and finding things. The doctor didn't even, oh, looky there. Epstein-Barr is really high in your system. So Epstein-Barr is the virus that causes mono. Hopefully I said that right. And it stays in your system, apparently, so I looked it up, right? It stays in your system, like, for the rest of your life and can reactivate at any time. Now, I had been tested for mono once before. In all of the years, in all of the episodes of being so tired, only one time have they actually tested for mono and it was negative or whatever. But the virus that causes mono is in my system. So I apparently had it at some point. Just didn't know. So great. Okay. So there's that. So then recently, so I'm getting there. Recently, we got to the point where, so I've had issues over the years with my joints being loose, and I've been in physical therapy more than once for my shoulders because of injuries. When I was a kid, my shoulders came out of joint three different times when I was a kid. I think it was one at a time. I don't think I ever did both at the same time. But anyway, and then I ended up, my husband loves this video and thinks it's hilarious, but because we've got security camera footage. But yeah, I tripped and fell on the way out of the garage one day, fell into my car, and it hurt so bad because I put my arms forward to catch myself on the car. And it, like on the video, the doctors, the orthopedic was like, yeah, I think that came out of socket. It hurt really, really bad. So I've got labral tears. And anyway, that's a whole nother thing. So I figured out, because I was trying to figure things out, because over the years, nobody's figuring anything out. So I figured out, I think it's Ehlers-Danlos, EDS, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Because and if you look up EDS, it explains so many things going on with me. And I was like, oh my goodness. So many things were linked that I had no idea until I started researching it. So I, talk to the doctor, I get referred to a diagnostician place. And so they're like, yep, go see this orthopedic about physical therapy and blah, blah, blah. So I'm still actually waiting. I'm on a 1.5 year waiting list just to get the genetic testing. And the problem is with EDS, there's like 13 different kinds of it, and some of them are very, very bad and very dangerous. But the most common one is the hypermobility one. Well, I definitely have the hypermobility. They all do. They all share that, I think. I'm not 100% on that. But in order to find out, so the hypermobility, the most common one, actually is the one that the test doesn't, it's only diagnosed by symptoms and experience rather than the genetic test. But you need to do the genetic testing to make sure it's not one of the worst ones, because your doctor really, really, really needs to know that, because it can be very dangerous. Anyway, so yeah, I'm still waiting. A 1.5 year waiting list just to get the genetic testing done, which is ridiculous. And I had them look at surrounding states too. I was like, I'll drive, one state over, no big deal. Like, find the options. It needs to be done. But yeah, anyway, so there's that. And apparently, so here's why I mentioned that, because apparently EDS can also cause fatigue. So I've got, and there's more. But anyway, so here's, and this is all driving up to how I got to carnivore. We're going to get there. So there's, the ADHD, you've got the D deficiency, the iron deficiency, the, being overweight is hard. Always tired, the hypothyroid, Epstein-Barr in my system, EDS. And then, of course, I was having issues with my blood sugar. So with both my kids, I had gestational diabetes, but it was very hormonal. Like it was, I've always said that me and my body doesn't get along with, my body and hormones don't get along. So, like with both my kids, I had gestational diabetes, and as soon as the baby was out, as soon as I had the baby in the hospital, before blood sugar was back to normal. As soon as the baby was out, it was back to normal. It's the craziest thing. So I was like, oh, that's just hormonal, whatever. Well, my mom now is pre-diabetic. My grandmother was, I think she ended up type 2 at the end, but I'm not sure. But anyway, so my A1C started creeping up. And I don't around the holidays or whatever, I do have sugar, but I'm not like a huge sugar eater. I'm really not. And just sometimes. But my morning numbers, that was the thing. Even with the gestational diabetes, you end up testing your blood all the time, right? And so my numbers during the day would be fine. It's my first thing in the morning number is always higher. And you can read about that, and they call, what is it? I can't remember the term for it, but it's like overnight syndrome, morning syndrome, whatever the heck it is. And people suggest all kinds of things, having a snack later at night because your blood sugar drops too low when you're, listen, I've tried all the things, snack, no snack, fasting, not fasting, all the things, and nothing seems to change it. It's the weirdest thing. But anyway, so there's that. So I get to the point where, when was this? October? I guess it was October. Had my regular checkup at the doctor. My A1C, that time, it had been kind of playing with that line, but my A1C that time was 6.5. And that is the point when you hit 6.5, they say, you're diabetic now. So on the blood work, so I was actually seeing the nurse practitioner lady, and I hadn't actually seen the doctor. And so on the blood work, he always writes notes on it or whatever. And he had noted, you need to come in and we need to talk about this. And I was like, no, nope. This is not going to happen. I refuse. No, God help me. Come on. I've cried and prayed so many times over my life about weight issues and things. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? Help me. Lord, lead me, help me figure this out. Because a lot of times, so many doctors nowadays, it's just is what it is. They get trained on the medicines and they don't, they schedule a 15-minute slot with you and they don't take the time to actually, it's not a family doctor that you've grown up with, that they know your whole life story. They don't know your whole life story and what's been going on. And they don't know all these symptoms that have been connected down the line, and they just apply medicine to treat the systems and that the symptoms, and that's it. And I'm just like, you just have to give it to God. It was just like, my life, it's in your hands. It's in your hands. Help me, because I don't know what else to do. I was like, I'm done. I'm done with diets. I'm done with all the things. I'm not doing anything else. Whatever it is has to be permanent and has to be, easily maintainable. And so I happened to be, so there we are. I'm like, ugh. I just hit that point where it was point of no return, can't go any further. So I happen to be, lately I had been watching YouTube more just for educational purposes. I really like learning things, watching crochet videos and all kinds of things. I while I'm playing a game or doing something, I like listening or watching a video and doing research via videos, you know what I'm saying. But anyway, I just happened to be watching a video one day, because a lot of shows are just garbage now. Oh my gosh. Yeah. A lot of, sorry, that's just, there is some good stuff out there still, but a lot of it, sometimes you just look and you're like, I don't want to watch any of that. That does not add to my life. So anyway, I was on YouTube and I was watching this video. I believe it was the Salty Christians podcast. I'm pretty sure it was him. I don't remember, I don't know how, I mean, it's just the hand of God, okay? Because like, I don't know how I happened to, I think I was looking for, I was looking for something in particular. I don't remember what it was now, but I was looking for something in particular. And somehow I came to this video from the Salty Christians podcast, and he was interviewing, talking to this pastor. And the pastor was talking about how he eats, and he was talking about eating carnivore. And I had never heard of it, had never heard of it. And I was like, because I've studied, over the years, like I'm a teacher, I've studied nutrition stuff and of course, over all the diets and all the things, of course, so I was like, well, that's different. That's weird. What is that? So of course I looked more into it, and along the way, you have this like domino of research and things. So somewhere down the line, I got to a video of Dr. Barry's, and he was interviewing Kelly Hogan. Names are, I'm like talking and thinking of things, and so names are not like falling exactly where they need to. So he was interviewing Kelly Hogan, and I watched, it was her story of, and she, oh my gosh, her before pictures are actually kind of not too far off from me. Like, she was, I think I weigh more than she did to begin with, but it was very close. And we look kind of, she actually, her picture looks a lot like my husband, one of my husband's aunts. I was like, wow. Anyway, so it was her story. And so, but she is amazing, has an amazing physique at this point, and has done it for so long. And I really like that, because I could also tell from what she was saying that she was also a Christian, also a believer. And so I was like, that's what I want to hear from someone who has gone through something similar and at least come down from a higher weight. Like people that are like, I've kept 30 pounds off for 2 years. I'm like, good for you, honey. I've got 150 to lose. Now tell me when you've lost that much, because that is a whole different cup of tea. That is a whole different story. You know what I'm saying? So, but Kelly was that. She was a believer, and she's done like the whole thing. And I was like, okay, let's see what else. So I got more into, watching how she did it, and I just felt like, okay, I just, sometimes when the Holy Spirit is so for some people it's just your gut, but for me it's the Holy Spirit living in my gut. Okay. But when your spirit just tells you, okay, this is it. This is what you need to do. And so I just felt like, okay, this is what I need to do. And so I went for it. I started, so right now, today is February 25th. This will post on the 28th probably. So we're at the end of February. This was in October. I started before really knowing all of it, but I started at the end of October. I started right before Halloween. That is a great time to try to start cutting out all sugar and carbs, y'all. Start right before the holidays, where all the candy is. Okay, so I started right before. So I'm just saying like November 1st is, technically my anniversary date, even though I started before that, because I wasn't perfect, of course I wasn't perfect when I started, nobody is. But anyway, so I decided to go for it. And after a couple weeks into November, I was like, after a few weeks in, I was like, it's not really coming off like it should. You see all these stories, people lose so much so fast, and that's just not happening. Like, I need to make sure I don't feel like I'm doing everything, I need help. So all these carnivore people with channels, they all have these support groups, because it really is important, okay? I know that people make money from it, but the community and the support is actually really, really important. So I joined Kelly Hogan's support group. I started that in December. So I'm on my third month of that. And so, I needed help. So I joined there, and it really has helped. It's been so good. And it's so good to see stories from other people who have gone through the same kind of things, and you can ask questions anytime you want and be like, look, is this okay to eat? You don't want to get too dorky detailed with that, but or I try not to. Some people worry about that more. But like, how do I count this? Or where's a good place to go for this? Or like there's all kinds of really great, it's fabulous. And it's like accountability. I have that meeting every week and I know I'm going to have that meeting, and it just keeps it fresh to my mind where I can't let it go, But anyway, so I started in that group. So here's where we are. November, December, February, November, December, January, February. So I am completing 4 months carnivore. So here, what has it changed? How has it helped me? What has it changed? Okay, my weight is down. I was waiting. I didn't want to tell anybody really till I was down at least 20 pounds. So I've hit the 20-pound mark. I'm down around 20 pounds, plus or minus. It's gone, I picked a starting point of a certain weight, and really I had been above that. So I give myself 1 or 2 pound leeway in here. But anyway, 20 pounds gone. I had to get new underwear, which is amazing. That feels so good. Like anyway, I had to get smaller underwear, and that's fabulous. That's a little thing, but that made me feel great. And I've gone down a size in jeans because I was really close to the line there. So I'm at a size down in jeans. And let's see, what else? So I was so excited to go do my 3-month blood work at the end of January, because I've been checking my blood sugar every morning and my ketones every morning. And I was like, I know that A1C has to be better, because like my morning numbers are better than they've ever been. I'm still not, perfect where they need to be, but they're so much better. It's amazing. And so, after like the blood work, my cholesterol was all better. Like a lot of people like get worried, oh, your cholesterol's going to be bad. You're eating all that meat, blah, blah, blah. No, my cholesterol all got better. It all improved. Which is weird because my cholesterol shouldn't have been, it wasn't high. It wasn't like in trouble, but it just wasn't great. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. My cholesterol is all better. I have actual energy. Now, the energy is not, because there's another thing I just found out. So in all this blood work, my testosterone is still, I'm at that age, y'all, where hormones are doing a thing. And so my testosterone apparently is just in the garbage, like 12-ish. It was like 11 point something or 12.1 or 2. I don't know. It's really low. And so I just went back to talk to him. I did the blood work at the end of January, but I actually just got to go talk to him about it. And so my energy has improved, guys. Like after really just several weeks on the carnivore diet, I was able to go play outside. My youngest wanted to play badminton in the driveway. And I was like, okay. And that is not normal for me. I never want to go out and play. Like it's always, listen, like I told the doctor, I was like, look, like it has been over the years. I can't tell you how long I've been so tired, but I was like, over the years, there has been at any point, like a lot of days, I feel like at any point, I'm just so tired. I feel like I could just lay down right here on the floor and go to sleep. Like it's that extreme. Okay. And my testosterone being low at this point, apparently the doctor, and it made me feel better because I'm like, yeah, I am a beast. Because I always believed I was a beast. Like I've always had very strong muscles. I always played sports and that kind of thing. But in my adulthood, it's just been, like I said, the negative energy, not bad energy, but just no energy. And he said, and when you list off the vitamin D deficiency and the iron deficiency and this, and you add in that low testosterone, he said, because he was telling me testosterone levels in women, he said, at 70, I don't remember which numbers at what level exactly, so I might not be saying this exactly right, but he's like, at 70, women start feeling like something's off, something's not right. And then at 60, they were like really tired and blah, 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 blah. And he went down and he stopped at like 40 or 30. He's like, if you get to 30, like I don't remember what he said, but basically you feel like garbage and you can't hardly function. But I'm down at 12. Okay. Still. So he was like, I don't know how you've done anything, he said. If by, he said, I would just lay down. Like I wouldn't even be able to get up. So it kind of made me feel better because I'm like, by the grace of God, I've had 2 children and, managed, well, I mean, my house is a mess, but that's a whole nother thing. I'm working on it. Okay, I'm working on it. I actually have some energy to clean now, which is just amazing. And anyway, but it made me, it kind of, I don't know, validated me, I guess, because like always before, I'd tell the doctor, I'm so tired. Why am I so tired? Nobody understands. Nobody understands. And I'd be like, I'm so tired. And they're like, well, we checked your thyroid and it's fine. Like I never got any answer from anybody. Nothing. And it's a miracle I wasn't diagnosed with like chronic fatigue. Like, I don't know why that never came up with anybody. Maybe because of God's hand. I don't know but anyway, so the cholesterol's better. I do actually have it now. Like I said, I'm still tired because of the things. All the things are still low, but it's getting better. Like I've had some real energy the last couple months, which is just, for me, that is everything. That is amazing. That is mind-blowing. That is like, I've actually had energy where I feel like if I have a day at the house where I'm just sitting, if I sit too long, I feel like I need to get up and move. And that was never a thing before, okay? Like I actually feel like moving now, which is, praise God. Like, I cannot tell you how big that is for me. Even this little bit, I'm like, thank you, God. Like, wow. So some actual energy. And I have felt a little bit more like myself cutting out the sugar and carbs. My stomach acid medicine, I've been able to reduce. That's why I was having some moments earlier, but it's because I cut it down to half a pill. And so I'm having a little bit of that rebound coming at me. But I'm hoping, just like after a couple weeks, I'm hoping, because I've seen Dr. Barry, he said he was on proton pump inhibitors. I don't know how long he was on them though. I've been on them for like 20 years. So I don't know. Well, that's something we're going to keep our eye on and I'm going to be very careful with because of things. But I've been able to reduce it and I've been okay. We don't have Mount Vesuvius going on just yet. So we'll see. And we're just letting God handle that. And also I've gotten compliments on my skin, which never was a thing before. And I hadn't really noticed it that much myself because I see myself every day and I don't really notice the change. But I've had people like at church like, oh, your skin looks great. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. Like, I'd never thought of it, but apparently my skin looks better than it did. And I already talked about it. The A1C is the big, I didn't tell you what it is now. The A1C was such a huge thing. And that was like that last straw, that last wall that I was like, nope, this can't happen. So my A1C was at 6.5, which is the diabetic line where they say, okay, you're diabetic now. And I was like, no, thank you. And so at the end of January, and I suspect it's even better now, but the end of January, I believe it was 5.7. So in 3 months, just 3 months, I went from the you're diabetic now line, I'm all the way down to the you're pre-diabetic now line, which is huge. That is huge. Like for me, it's like, that's why I'm doing this. Like one reason. But that is one of the biggest reasons why, to get control of that. I don't want to be diabetic. I don't want to do it. Yeah. Okay. I love being with my family better than eating sugar. Okay. But anyway, so, and that's basically what I've done is I've been eating carnivore. So I basically cut out. So if you know me from before, you know that I had already cut out all wheat and soy because of allergy from blood testing. That was from another doctor. but it didn't. I thought that would fix the things. I thought, okay, if that's an allergy, but it's a low-lying allergy, maybe it'll fix the skin issues and this and that. And it didn't really. Cutting the weed out, I mean, while it was good for me, it didn't fix the things I thought it would fix. Like I remember one of my doctors before, in my blood work, they would say, you've got this inflammation, but I can't. They couldn't figure out what was causing it. I've had this inflammation for ages. They couldn't figure. So I thought maybe cutting the wheat out would help fix that. And I was wheat free, not just gluten free, wheat free for over 2 years. It was either 2 or 3 years before I started carnivore. And it never seemed, I mean, it was better, I guess, but I couldn't really tell that much of a difference. But on carnivore, within a couple of weeks, the difference was amazing. So it's huge. It's huge. So I wanted to share, and I wanted to encourage, because like so many of us, because just like the way it is now, it just is the way it is. We have to be more proactive, like with our health and things, like so much information. Now, you don't want to listen, if you go look on like WebMD, oh, it was so bad for that. You look up symptoms you should do your research, right? And of course, always consult a doctor in the end. Hopefully you have a good doctor that's understanding. But, people talk about like when people go look up your symptom on WebMD and, they make you think you're dying, like something really bad is wrong and all that. Yeah, of course, be careful of that. But at the same time, like if you don't feel right and something just isn't right, don't give up on it. Like, pray about it, ask God for help, and trust Him. The first thing is always, 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 we're rooted in the rock, right? The first thing is always go to God, trust God. He is the one that's going to help you. And it's not always when you think. Like I told you, I've been praying and crying and praying and crying for how many, I don't even know how many years. I've lost count. It's been so long, okay? Like this has been going on since college, okay? And so the answer doesn't, I can't tell you how many times I would start a program or start a diet or something and think, okay, this is it. This is going to be the one that works. And then it wasn't. But was I where I needed to be in order, like, was it time? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to be where you are for certain reasons. And you never know. Like some things we won't know till we die. Like you just never know why you need to be where you are, for what reason, to help who now or later. And sometimes you don't even know the people that you've helped from just being somewhere or being the way you are. So for whatever reason, now I'm hoping this continues. For me, in my heart, in my mind, this is forever. This is not a fad diet kind of thing. It's I can't have sugar and carbs because I will turn diabetic. But also there's so many other things that need to heal, whatever this inflammation. Oh, and my vitamin D. Okay, so on that 3-month blood work, after 3 months, so the doctor's like, take 5,000 IU. I'm like, dude, I already take 5,000 IU a day. And I was using cream on top of that. So I'm like, it doesn't matter what I do. I can't nudge it. So I was always hanging around between 30 and 32. And like, that's that line where on the blood work, the typical range is like, really ideal is like at least 75. And I was hanging down at like 30, but because I was at like 30.5 or 31 or whatever, they wouldn't do anything about it. They just say, take a supplement. That's what it's always been. And so, but anyway, so I've always been right around there. Well, after 3 months on carnivore, and I have not been taking my vitamins every day because I wanted to see what carnivore would do. I wanted to see what it would do, what kind of, nutrients and things. And so I wasn't even taking it all the time. And my vitamin D is now in the 40s, which that's just this much. And that's still too low. But I went up over 10 points in vitamin D. Like, that's huge for me because I've been down at like 30 for years and years and years. I don't know how long. It's been a very long time. Okay. So even my vitamin D improved. My iron has gotten a little better. I don't remember the numbers, but it of course was because I just had another transfusion. So I had that iron transfusion after I had my firstborn. I just had one like a year and a half ago because it was so low again. And I went to a hematologist. That's a blood doctor. Because I was like, listen, my doctor's not figuring this out. I can't get my iron up. What I looked up, like what doctor studies blood and anemia and whatever. And so I actually went to a hematologist and she tested all the things. She was like, I got nothing. She was like, she said, it's nothing that I can do anything about. Go talk to your OB. It's your monthly bleeding. Like that has to be what's causing it. And yes, I had an issue with that and it was super TMI, sorry. It was like super, super, super heavy, which blood loss, iron deficiency, right? So that's a different story. I'm trying to decide if I should share that or not. It's kind of personal. But there are certain IUDs that have hormones in them, okay, and can help stop your bleeding so heavy. So I did that way back last January, not this past January, the one before that. So it's been over a year now. And that has helped tremendously. But I was still getting blood work done. And so I got all that blood work done. And, I believe Carnivore has helped it more than stopping the bleeding has. I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. But anyway, that has improved too. The vitamin D has improved. The A1C is fantastic and getting better, I believe, because I'm looking at it every single morning. So many things. And there are little things. Now, I still have, like this itchy skin patch I'm working on. But there's lots of little things. And I feel so much better. I am so much better than I was. And I just wanted to share because I'm like, when you find something like that helps you feel so much better. Like sugar is great, sugar is delicious, and I miss things. Sometimes I mourn a little over things that I want to eat that I can't eat anymore. I mean, come on, birthday cake. Like, oh, it's just a birthday. Nope. None. Give me a steak. Like, no. Like, seriously, all sugar and carbs. No. I had an open package of gummy frogs, y'all. So this was just a special treat. I would only have like 3 at a time. Like I didn't like eat the whole bag ever. Like I only had a couple. But they're these gummy frogs and it's got Grogu on the front. It says child eat frogs. I get them from Disney. And they're like green apple flavored gummies and they're shaped like frogs and they're so cute and they're delicious. And just the other day I had a pack that was sitting on one of the it's not a nightstand, whatever, the side table by the couch in the living room, and it was on like a lower shelf. I had set it down there and forgot about it. And I was like, oh, and of course it was, I threw it away. I took it straight to the garbage and threw it away. It's like, nope. So anyway, I am sad sometimes because like Dairy Queen, like we live so close to a Dairy Queen, but that my husband actually might be having a harder time than that. That he's doing really well. He's lost a ton of weight on this. I haven't lost as much, but so my weight loss has been slower than I hoped. However, it is overall trending down, and that's the important thing. And part of it is also because the other hormonal things and deficiencies and all the other things, I'm not just a regular average person doing carnivore. Like I am not way. Part of my overweight is my own fault. Okay. Part of it is my fault. I ate garbage in college. Like I really did. I could live on $1.99 box of pastaroni. The, white macaroni. Oh, macaroni and cheese. Anyway, let's not talk about all the foods we miss. That'll just depress us. But, you eat like garbage when you don't have enough money. You have to eat the cheapest thing possible. And that's going to be pasta and rice and things that are carbohydrates. And your body burns through that. And anyway, stores, there's a whole story. Sorry. I'm rambling now. I'm already done with my list. But I just wanted to share In case there, anyone else that needs to, if you've got like health things going on or you don't feel good, like, and of course, always talk to your doctor, but like, some doctor, if your doctor is not helpful or less than helpful, find another doctor who is helpful. Like sometimes you got to go through a few before you find one that is more aligned with you or has the right values that you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? So, and really, I've done this. I asked my doctor, like, well, the nurse practitioner lady, but I asked the doctor before I started. I was like, hey, I'm, thinking about starting this. What do you think? And she was like, yeah, that's great. Go ahead, do that. This will be great. So like I'm working with my doctor and I'm doing blood work. Oh, he's tweaking my thyroid too. My T4 is okay, but we need to boost my T3 is too low. So we're working. That's another thing we're working on. But anyway, we're working on all the things. So just, always first seek God. Seek God. Seek God. Give it to Him. Give everything to Him. But also, don't be afraid to do your own research and figure it out for yourself. And, if you want to try like what I'm doing, carnivore is basically no sugar and no carbs. It's quite simple. Really, really it is. And there are so many, Lord mercy. If you go on YouTube, there are so many people with carnivore channels, and you'll find, just like with anything else, you'll find people that are naysayers and saying it's unhealthy because they're stuck on the old food pyramid way. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll find there are plenty of people with negative views of it, but there are plenty of people. And watch the stories, the personal stories. It's not just, there are doctors. Dr. Berry was one of them. Dr. Boz. There's another lady. Her name is Annette Bosworth, and she has a channel. She goes by Dr. Boz, and she got into carnivore. She is a doctor. She's like a legit doctor, and her mom had cancer, and she was trying to figure out how to help her mom. So that's how she got started researching the ketogenic diet. She's all about the ketogenic diet, which is, carnivore is basically like an extreme form of the ketogenic diet. It's like more extreme. So, start with a ketogenic diet. Like, all it could do is help you cutting out sugar and carbs. Like, how bad is that going to be for you? Honestly, like, really. So that's my story. That's what's been going on. And that's partly one reason why I haven't, there's a whole nother story about not keeping up with videos. But anyway, I just wanted to share that. Hopefully it was helpful for someone. I know for me, it is helpful to see people's personal stories that I can relate to better. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, this person has experienced this. They're not just spouting it. I'm a teacher and I have spouted plenty of things that I know from learning and having to teach things. It's a different story when you have walked through it. Okay? It's a different story, and you never know. Like I always tell people that too, like as a Christian, you never know what someone's story is. When you go to the grocery store and the checkout person has a sour look on their face and they're just, okay, you never know what has happened to them that day that has made them that way. You show them the love of Jesus and you be nice, and maybe just you being nice can help turn their day around. Or, you know what I'm saying? You never know someone's story. You can't look at a fat person. I'm using the word fat. I hate that word. You can't look at someone who is super overweight and assume that it's because they don't exercise enough and they eat too much. You cannot ever assume that. You do not know someone's story and what they have been through and what they've been dealing with until you walk that line of exactly what they've experienced. You can't. Because let me tell you, the zero energy that I have experienced, and I have pushed on and tried to to do the best I can with God's help until now. And, you have no idea how much internal mental torture that the enemy or myself would torture me with, you suck, you don't do anything, you're so lazy. And I grew up with my mother telling me how I'm lazy and I'm a what's the word? Procrastinator, and it's like I wasn't lazy. I had stuff, my brain was just wired differently. And I needed help, and no one ever could help me, and no one understood, and no one, you know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother story. But I'm just saying, you just never know what someone's story is. Worry about yourself. You keep your eyes on God, and you worry about yourself, and do what you can. That wasn't exactly what I came here to say, but whatever, it's fine, it works. So, thank you for watching. That is my story up to this point. I think I covered everything. I knew it would take forever. This is almost an hour. Oh my gosh. I knew it would take forever. And that's why I just wanted to do a video. Like, I do not want to type this out. It's just so tedious and there are so many things and it's just easier to talk. That's the story. And so hopefully, maybe this is helpful for someone. I'm sharing it. It is kind of embarrassing. It's all my personal information, but maybe it'll help encourage someone. Maybe it'll help get someone like me where I kind of bunny trailed to the place where I needed to be. Maybe I can help steer someone the right direction. I don't know. That's up to God. But that's it. So if you like this video, hit the thumbs up. Just let me know that you liked it. Yay. That's just for me. If you want to catch future stuff, I'll be talking more about travel and probably more about carnivore stuff later. If people want, if anybody has a question or wants, how do you do this or that? I'm happy to make a video for that. Just let me know. That's what you want. And, subscribe for that. But other than that, y'all, I hope you have a great week, a great weekend, a great week, whenever you end up watching this. And I hope you are staying rooted in the rock.